All right, everybody. Give me 1 second here because we don't have our YouTube friends online yet. For some reason, when I started the stream, it completely messed. It did something weird happen with the YouTube, and it didn't want to send it to the right stream URL or something. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but we should be coming up and coming alive on YouTube here in a second, which means we didn't get that start screen. So we'll give people an extra minute or two here to join in. Long story short, what happened is we're going to talk about a few things and what the future is for the next few days. Um, Basically, the forecast models really let us down um, in this scenario. Hold on 1 second. 1 second here. You might lose my camera, but you should still have my audio. So I have to move move the camera over here. Otherwise, it won't. We're gonna have issues. So hopefully that's okay. So that might remove some of our issues. Thing wasn't plugged in. It couldn't. Cord wouldn't reach all the way over. But this is Humberto that we're starting off with. That's Humberto. That's not going to be our problem. This thing's way out in the middle of the Atlantic right now, but it's a big storm. I mean, look at that thing. So that's a really nice, classic looking hurricane. It's really kind of out in the middle of nowhere, thankfully, because if that thing was coming to the United States, we'd be talking about a different story. So, but this thing is kind of, I think, the reason, or partially the reason, that our deployment here kind of got botched. I'll show you folks with Radar Omega. If you actually zoom out, um, this is this is our storm over here that I circled in purple, which might not be the best color. Let's go to blue. Blue's not the best color for this either. What's the best color for this? White? Yeah, we're gonna use white. So this mess down here that I just circled, that's actually our storm. That's Tropical Depression 9, which I'm getting depression just trying to track this thing and watch where it's going. Because this has been a weather model failure, and I know some folks get really sensitive when I say things like that, but it has been. The past about 24 hours now, the weather models have really kind of caught on and started making more sense with it. But prior to that, the model discrepancy and how all over they were is not good. And that's not like something that we blame anybody for, just as an observation. Sometimes the models do really well with the storm, sometimes they don't. And this storm's not really, I see a lot of people saying it's a fish storm. It's not a fish storm. This storm, these fish storms are these ones that go out in the water and don't cause any issues. This storm is still going to cause some coastal implications. It's very, very close. And in fact, folks, I'm also not ruling out a last minute surprise where this thing jogs back west. Humberto out here is currently moving this way, and it looks like it's on a collision course for the US, but it's not. It's actually going to curve back off to the northeast. So don't worry about that. But Humberto is going to pull Tropical Depression 9 to the east. The fact that Tropical Depression 9 took a little bit longer than expected, I think it took maybe, 12 hours longer than expected to really get going. There was a trough. There was a trough up here that was supposed to kind of grab it. And as that trough was, the flow on the backside of that trough would come down and then come up here like that, like a big scoop. And it should have kind of carried it off into the north a little bit more. And that's a big reason we thought Charleston was going to be in the bullseye there. In fact, it was. And the first National Hurricane Center cone actually had Charleston in. Yeah, don't be sorry, folks. We don't want, please, I don't want this to, don't think that I'm trying to be upset or pity here that we don't have a storm. I mean, we don't want people getting hurt by any means. I'm just trying to explain that we've had really serious um, model discrepancies here. Um, it's been pretty ferocious. This has been bad. But that trough, it missed the trough. So that trough that was going to kind of dig in and help steer this thing, it missed it. And now Humberto is strong, and it's a little stronger than expected, and it's going to really pull this thing off to the east. However, I will tell you, um, there is no excuse for becoming complacent. Sometimes people will say that because they weren't paying attention or something, people will mistake complacency for ignorance and vice versa. It would be a very, very bad thing to just totally write off this storm and say that it's not going to be a problem at all ever. That would be a horrible thing for us to do. However, it is reasonable at this point to say, hey, it's probably not going to be a huge deal. So anyway, you can see what happens. If you look up here, that's a Category 1 hurricane at 8 a.m. on the 1st. Is that Wednesday? When is the 1st? Wednesday. That's 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And then by 8 a.m. on Tuesday, it's already way out over here. So you can see how fast this dang thing starts moving once this starts pulling on it. So watch out, Bermuda. Um, but this thing's kind of down here over the Bahamas, and you can see, look how much more organized this looks. Looks like a little center here. It's lopsided. Remember, we were talking about this being lopsided, this big dry area over here. Some dry air is going to come in. Typically with these fall hurricanes along the coast, they're lopsided, ugly things anyway. So it is what it is. That's kind of what you would expect, especially with the coast and the landmass being in the way. But if you look, it's kind of got a lot of like associated storms and showers and storms with it up ahead of it. But this thing is now getting its act together. I'm going to be completely honest with you folks. Like, if this had happened, if all this had happened maybe 12 hours ago, and we might be looking at a more eventful system here. But basically, this is just going to stay so much more offshore than we thought. But I'm not ruling out a westward pull. Now, the reason why we're still kind of on alert here, and I want everybody to understand this very carefully, because I see a lot of people on social media trying to steer people away from this, and they're saying that basically a lot of folks are saying that what I'm about to tell you is a lie, and I'm only telling you this to get views, and I'm not. Charleston, all the way down to West Palm Beach, is still in some sort of hot zone here. It might not be super hot, but it's warm. So the reason being, this storm is going to be large, right? So when it's here, this center line track, that is the center of the storm. That's the low pressure center. It is not the entire storm. The cone, and I've been stressing this cone, that is not the size of the storm. That is a margin for error. That's the National Hurricane Center saying that the center line, which is this, could be anywhere but in that cone, which means if the center line ends up here, well, now it's just that much bigger outside of the cone over here. And if it ends up down here, it's just going to spill out the cone so much more down here. So the center track is like the average for all of the models, right? And human input. The cone does not tell you who will and who won't have impacts. And I think that's very important, because I think a lot of people forget that. There's a tropical storm watch, and this is the only tropical alert that we have, and it's for parts of eastern Florida. It goes from Daytona Beach all the way down to West Palm Beach. And I don't know when it's set to expire, but that hasn't been upgraded to a warning yet. We're still up here in Atlanta. I think we're probably calling off the deployment at this point, unless something big changes. There's really nothing to deploy on. We could come down here. We could come down here and pepper the coast with cameras. But the problem is, I really don't even think, because the western half of this is going to be dry-ish. It's going to be really hollowed out. I really don't even think that, despite the tropical storm watch, that there is really anything of concern. Um, which is really saying something, because my bar is set very low for deploying these. We could have a tropical rain shower, and I would still want to put 30 to 50 of these things out on the coast. That's what we're here to do. And I don't care. Like, that's my criteria. This probably does meet that criteria, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm not confident in this at all, and I really don't think that this is much at this point. Now, folks, the areas up here, like Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, you could still have some coastal flooding. You're not out of the woods yet, and it depends on how the rain bands and all that stuff sets up. Um, I really don't know what to think. I think this is a new cone, right? Yeah. So we're pretty much expecting this east turn about, what is that, maybe 200 miles? Yeah, about 200 miles east of Cape Canaveral. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm actually looking at, folks, I'm considering myself to for something to do. I'm actually considering driving down. I want to know what you guys think. We wouldn't be doing a full deployment by any means, but I'm considering, again, I'm up here in Atlanta, driving down to Macon, and then either driving down to Savannah and then down 95, or driving south to Valdosta and then taking 75, going to Orlando, and then going to Palm Bay. That's what I'm thinking. I wouldn't want to do a full deployment, but I might put 4 or 5 campers out if we feel like it. I'm actually just kind of thinking about going down there. Now, here's the deal. That's another $700 of added expense. So I personally don't really want to do that because this has been like a zero return on investment trip. But there's a positive in that, and I'm going to get to that. So like, if the audience is interested, I'll go. But there needs to be people to watch, obviously. But it sounds like from what I'm seeing in the chat, people want to go. So just give me a minute and we'll make a plan on that. Give me an hour or two. So I want to go ahead and give you guys the stats of this deployment because there's something that I'm seriously proud of. And give me a second here. Trying to get this to play. So let me get the notebook. Every time we do a deployment or something, I have to buy a notebook because I have to write stuff down. And then sometimes you have to synchronize notebooks with other people's notebooks by taking pictures or copying down. It's been something. So this notebook is fairly empty, which tells you that not much has happened. Um, oh my God. Okay, so here's the stats, and I'm actually really proud of what happened here. So we have had, collectively, we've had over 120 man hours in this. We've got 4 people physically deployed from Wisconsin, North Carolina, Tennessee. We've got 4 people deployed to Atlanta here. This is our pre-staging area. The original plan was to be moving to Savannah or Charleston or wherever. And with all those people considered, we've probably got 6,000 combined miles in. On top of that, I haven't looked at the fuel expenses, but we're probably, by the time all said and done, everyone goes home. Everybody here has probably spent 300 to 400 in fuel, if not more, unless you're Aiden because he gets like 60 miles a gallon. Good for him. But the amount of equipment that's been brought down here, folks, we had 35 units with. Actually, no, we had 39 because of the 4 RDDs. We had 39 units. We had 39 units with. That was literally as many as I could fit in the truck. I'll probably be leaving several of those units down here in our staging locations so that we can bring another 39 more units next time. That would be 40 basically, which is pretty substantial. So I'm really proud of that. However, I really am excited to get them out of my truck because that's like 1,000 pounds of stuff in the back of my truck, and it is ridiculous. I mean, seriously ridiculous. Um, on top of that, we have to take some serious credits here. So we're going to do the credits. First and foremost, we have to thank our field staff, which in this case is Aiden, David, and Zach. And these guys drove hours with their own vehicles and their own tires and all that to get down here and do nothing. We basically had a 3 or 4 day long work meeting, which when you think about it sounds cool. I mean, hey, for like future sponsorships or something with, I don't know, maybe a tire company that's not Tire Rack or something like that, be like, hey, you know what? We're so important. We took a 4 day work trip to a state that none of us really needed to go to. Put it that way. So I mean, that's the bright side. That sounds important. It makes us sound like we know what we're doing. On top of that, these folks missed. Well, Zach missed the opening day of deer season, and I guess there was a big deer like 15 feet from his tree stand. So sorry, appreciate it though. And Aiden was sick and came down anyway. And there's been a lot of people that really have put a lot of work and time into this. On top of that, we've got folks in as far west as California and as far northwest as Idaho that were on standby to get on an airplane and get out here if this had turned into an all hands on deck situation, as well as people from Texas to Oklahoma to Kansas to Missouri that were willing to do the same. We had the ability and the availability. We had 7 total people, including me, that were available. Four of us came down thinking we could handle this, but we had 3 more that could have been down here with about 14 hours of notice. There's a lot of people involved in this project that are extremely willing to bust their ass and get the job done without complaining about it, without crying because something went wrong. These are some of the most dedicated people I've dealt with in the weather community, and frankly, pretty much in anything that I've ever worked in. These folks are more dedicated at this opportunity than I've seen people dedicated when it comes to a full-time 6-figure career. So big thank you to our field team and of course our staff, our SeeTheStorm.net staff, the moderators, and the Project Weather Eye admin staff. There's many people to name. There's a lot of folks involved in this. As you guys are kind of learning now, this is more than just me. Not everybody here streams. In fact, about 80% of our staff, I think would be, yeah, 75% of our staff has nothing to do with weather other than this. They're just weather enthusiasts. Of course, we have to thank our friends at Radar Omega and SDS Weather. Thanks, Don, for staying around, even though I was an hour and a half late because I don't know what a time zone is. And appreciate letting us borrow the ladder that I'll probably forget to bring back to you and then have to send you another one. But uh, it's been fun. So, but a big thank you to our friends at Radar Omega and SDF Weather for basically helping us build the software side of this, whether it's from the apps that are provided or the APIs that I use to build all of our software and bring you the information that you guys want to see. So, folks, I really do appreciate this. And while this deployment may have been an absolute bust, it's not a failure because we did everything right as a business, as a project. We absolutely did everything right. We had a meeting at breakfast. Um, Breakfast was terrible, by the way. We had a meeting at breakfast, which was awful. And, we kind of decided that we really didn't do anything wrong. We did pretty much everything right. There's not much else we would have changed. Um, Honestly, the only thing that I might have changed from this, from my perspective, I needed to get going sooner. If I would have gotten down here sooner, we probably could have established a temporary forward operating base a little bit quicker. But we got caught up in that severe weather. So next time I'm gonna try to get down here at least 24 to 48 hours before everybody else. But I want to really stress this part, folks. A lot of messages, a lot of comments and stuff have been made, saying, "Oh, you guys jumped the gun," and I was really surprised to see this project um, critiqued heavily, and I saw a lot of folks making fun of us for jumping the gun. And I want to say this: we have a team of some of the most dedicated people out here, whether they directly work with us, for us, or are associated with us. There is no failure in being over prepared and showing up ready to deliver what we are contractually obligated and morally obligated to provide. Our job as Project Weather Eye is to show up and show you folks what's happening, whether it's severe weather, flooding, winter storms, whatever. And we're going to talk about the future of that in a second. Um, the only way to do that with a tropical system, even though the models are all over the place, is you have to show up, regardless if it's going to go to hell or not. If it's going to tank out and the bottom falls out, you have to show up because 36 hours ago, this was going to landfall in Charleston like tomorrow. And if we weren't here or if we waited, we would have botched this. Our cameras get deployed 3 days prior to landfall. That's our goal, 3 days prior to landfall. Day one, that's 3 days out. Deploy a wave of them. The middle day, so like 2 days out from landfall. deploy another round 1 day before landfall. We finish up, clean up, whatever, maybe put 5 or 10 more out, just a few more. Um, this is a large operation, and I think it's possible that maybe just the general public has yet to grasp the amount of man hours and the amount of equipment that we have at our disposal. And I say this, that we are welcome to working with folks. If people do want to help out and be part of this, there is an application floating around, or you can email us directly and I can get it to you. Um, I will say this, that there is a significant underestimation about the dedication and the amount of equipment and the just the overall grand scheme of this. I'm really just kind of pulling this off the top of my head here. So, but I mean that there is a huge, huge amount of resources available to this project, and we intend to use every single one of them. If even if this thing was going to landfall as a tropical depression, we would be throwing everything at it because that's kind of what we do, and that's what we've always done, and that's probably what we always will do is just throw everything at it because that's the only way to stay the best and give you folks what you want to see. We're not out here, none of us, not a single one of us are out here because it's the highest paying job in the world. We're not out here because it's, you know, benefits anybody, more than just maybe that's not the right way to put it, but we're not out here to milk this or anything. We're out here because we all want to do this. And this is something we all enjoy, and we probably would all do this for free if we had to. Not that we would afford it, but we would want to. This is not only like a job for us folks, this is something that we do. And with that said, we are carrying this over to the next one. If there's and there could be, we've got another 6 weeks of tropical season, folks. We might not be done. We really don't. We might not be done. Um, but the next one will be just as ready. We'll be here early. We might bust, but we'll be here and we'll be ready to use it. And we're going to carry that forward into winter storms. I want to remind everybody, folks, we are literally planning just as big of operations in the winter. We plan on camera deployments and sensor deployments for blizzards. Like that, remember the blizzarding the Kansas City, Missouri area last year? That would have been a great one. Buffalo, New York snowstorms, cameras, sensor data, etc. I'm not looking forward to it in the cold, but we'll get it done. And we're going to be carrying this over into severe weather season as well. We're planning 2 or 3 large expeditions next year, probably one in late April, early May, and then another one in late May, early June, or somewhere around then, where we get as many of our field team members and staff, if they want, out as possible. We're going to get those folks out and we're going to deploy on severe weather, kind of like we did this storm season, but we're going to be doing a much larger scale operation where we really maybe use our endurance units like we use for tropical storms, and we'll have even more of them. There may be what 70 or whatever of them, but we'll have 100 of them, and we'll be able to put them out and leave them in general areas, and then have our smaller units that we go and deploy in the path of smaller storms. So there, at any time, we could have 10 to 100 devices out easily with a personnel count of 12 to 15 people. And I think it's going to be really cool because we have a concept where the folks that are going to be with us, because we have quite a few people that are like weather enthusiasts that don't chase storms or stream, but they still want to be involved in the chase. Like they want to go out and set up cameras and sensors, but they also want to, be part of the bigger scheme of it too. So what we're actually looking to do here is pair these folks up with folks that may have room in their vehicles and want to have a rider with them. But we're going to try to make this a thing where maybe you've got 2 people in a vehicle or 3 people in a vehicle where you go to deploy something or a tornado unit or something at the last minute. We can actually have somebody dedicated to live streaming that as well. So it's not just looking out the windshield. Like we want to give you guys the best perspective we can. And we thought that we were going to be doing that. Well, I think the original landfall day a couple days ago was supposed to be tonight. We thought we were going to be doing that tonight, but that's okay. I don't consider this a failure. I consider this actually a pretty successful test run, sort of. We succeeded. It just looks like a Debbie Downer situation because it's like when you think about it, man, everybody came out here, they worked their ass off, and then nothing happened. But in reality, this was the first time that we were actually able to test the integrity of our team, if that makes sense. Not that we had any doubts, but I guess maybe not test. I would say prove the integrity of our team. We were able to prove the dedication and integrity of these people that work their ass off to be able to do this. And I think we very well did that to many people. I've had countless emails and comments come in that I haven't been able to respond to, of folks that were just super excited that we were doing this. And that's why we do this. And I really appreciate that. So, with that said, folks, I really do thank you all for being part of this so far. This is not, we're not closing this out. We're still activated, I guess, but it would take a small miracle for me to deploy 35 units when the cone is 200 miles away from the shore. So, anyway, just to recap, you may need to go back and watch this, I guess, but just to recap, we're looking at tropical storm watch in Florida there. That's above my head, right about there, the pink areas. So I might head down there. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, take 95," and I don't know what the fascination with I-95 is, but hey, I guess we can probably take 95. I think I would probably rather take 95 anyway. Um, that's usually my preference, but I don't know, guys. I'm leaning toward Beth. We actually can control the weather, and you know this. It's fake news. I'm kidding. That was a joke. If you look on Facebook, a lot of people say that we do control the weather. It's kind of weird, but I'm leaning toward going down just as a storm chase because it's not that I'm bored. I'm not, this isn't boring to me, but it's going to be a long drive home if I don't have anything to show for it. So I'm kind of looking toward looking to go and maybe just see what it is on the beach. So yeah, I'll stream most of the drive, TJ. Um, I think it's 8 hours down there. So as long as I leave here by 1 o'clock, I think we'll be okay. So, well, that's what I got, folks. I really do appreciate everybody. It's been fun. And this isn't the last update or the last live stream by any means. We'll have another update or potentially live stream here later today. All right, folks. Thanks again, and I'll be back later. Hold on a second. I'm going to put our website on screen. So if you go to wxi.org, I was honestly wondering if we were going to have anything like that. Uh, do you have an opinion? Well, Aiden found the emergency button. We need to look at this. Does he know he hit it? I think I can clear it. Hang on. Oh shit. God dang it. Okay, so my emergency button doesn't even function. It just tries to call 911 again like yesterday. Okay, let's look at HRRR for tomorrow real quick. Yeah, so after this, after the wait a minute, where's my head? What happened? Okay, that's weird. But yeah, that was our website. Go to wxi.org to find out more. Anyway, there it is. So yeah, yesterday, right after I ended that stream, my phone wasn't working and it was sitting over here. We think Aiden's fingers are fat and hit the button, and now he doesn't know how to turn it off. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't either. Yeah. But anyway, he may just have to reboot it. So anyway, yeah, I was trying to after the stream. Zach and Aiden are sitting over there. They're sitting over there, and I couldn't get my phone to work. And I'm like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Whose phone's ringing?" And I could like faintly hear somebody like talking on the phone. I'm like, "Seriously, what is it?" And I pick up the damn phone, and she's like, "Hello, where's your emergency?" And I'm just like, hello." And she's like, "That says 911." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't mean to call you." She's just like, "Haha, okay, all right." So I don't. We were afraid that they heard us talking. We were saying some pretty raunchy stuff. Yes, I hope they didn't hear too much of it. But anyway, so here's what HRRR says. We're just going to look at composite reflectivity real quick to get an idea. So do you guys still have my audio? Yeah, you do. Yeah, I got HRRR up. There might be some gnarly waves down here tomorrow morning in this area. What do you guys think? Might be some crazy wave action. Maybe. I'm kind of leaning toward actually going, but I would probably go to 95 because then you can abort mission and stay in the Savannah area. Yeah, so you guys can't hear the radio because it's the noise cancellation. But Evan's just saying that for some reason I'm surprised the AirPods are cutting it out. That's interesting. But we can look. We're talking about this potential, um, maybe a severe or tornado water spout. Water spouts would be great. Target tomorrow, and here's like the tide points. High tide is at 3:50. $4. Could have some big waves here. Let's see, that's 6 a.m. High tide's at 5 p.m. How about up here? 1 p.m. We might be able to line this up with high tide, which was a good point that Evan just made. This area here might line up with high tide with some cool waves. So, boy, man, oh man, folks, HRRR, you see this, just because there's not any like precip over that area, but there's going to be wind and rain, or wind and waves just plowing the coast, I think. I wonder if it would be worth going down there. Because right now I'm kind of split, like we can go down 95 like this, or go down to 95 to Savannah like that, and then 95 runs here. We could stay in the Savannah area, like right there, if that happens, or tonight we could just continue down there. I don't know. So I guess we can actually maybe what I'll probably do is head to Macon, because that's where I have to make a call of which interstate. But I'm really thinking about heading to the coast, guys.
I see pockets of maybe up to 4 inches, maybe 5 inches in like West Palm Beach, Florida, through Tuesday. Maybe Charleston area to get 5 inches in like West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, right now I'm kind of like looking for something to do, so it's kind of like I guess I might just go to Savannah, honestly, go to the coast and then figure it out, because if this thing rides a little farther to the west, I mean maybe like you said the waves and all that stuff might be good, and I mean that leaves the Florida coast not too far out of reach. So, and then it also leaves, you can just stay in the Savannah Charleston area. So that might be the thing to do here.
Yeah, agreed. I think just getting there, and then you can assess later whether you want to go northeast to the Carolinas or drop south to Florida, because it looks like there could be flooding concerns in Florida as well. It could be a little more isolated, but that could be something in the waves. The only thing I could see is maybe the flooding could be a little more robust in the Carolinas somewhere, and that tornado threat looks pretty low end, but you never know, I guess. So you have some options, it looks like.
Sweet. Thanks. I'll wrap this up in like 5-10 minutes and probably start going somewhere.
Sounds good. I'll be monitoring for additional tropical activity later. I don't see anything yet, but I refuse to believe the season's over. It's not if it was.
I agree. Yeah, it's not looking like a big rainfall event anymore now either.
I agree.
So that's Evan with the input there. I mean, he actually has a significantly good point with that. I never thought to, I guess, look at HRRR and actually look at, because the HRRR is not like a tropical model, but it doesn't do bad. And that's what you're watching is future radar and HRRR there. And I mean, to me, it looks like we could find something there to chase. No, it didn't crap out. Well, it did kind of crap. It didn't. The thing is it didn't really ever become anything to crap out. It's been just a really dumb, really weird situation. Really weird. Um, it's been strange. So The waves are getting big in Melbourne, Florida. Where's Melbourne? I mean, I should know where that is, but oh, you're in the tropical storm watch in Melbourne. Yeah, Melbourne's halfway in the tropical storm watch. So that's probably Melbourne and Palm Bay, Cape Canaveral. That's probably as far south as I would go. If we do that, folks, if we go south in Florida, because I mean, we're probably going to go do something. I just don't know what it is, because it sounds like everybody wants us to. So that'd be kind of cool. This is tomorrow at 10 a.m. 9 p.m. 1 p.m. Yeah, let's look at H Wharf one more time. Hold on, it's loading. H Wharf, which is the hurricane model here. That's 5 p.m. tomorrow. HRRR is like 7 hours faster. Here, I'll let you watch this H Wharf run playthrough. The H Wharf is a solid 4 to 8 hours faster. Okay, there's Lily. Hi. What are you doing? I don't think she has sound, but that's okay. She wanted to say hi, so there she is. Can you wave? Yeah, I can't hear you because your microphone's off, but that's okay. Mom would have to turn it on, but she might not know where to turn it on at because I don't know if it works on her phone very well.
Say hi.
Hi. Oh, there she is. Hi. Hi. Hold on a second. I think it's actually me. Okay, now you're good. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Huh?
All right. Well, that's kind of really all we had, and my kid wanted to be involved, so there she is. So
Hi, Daddy.
yeah, hi, Lily. So that's what we got, folks. That's probably going to be about it for here. So, all right. Do you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I'm gonna kick you off so I can end this. All right.
Okay.
All right. I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Okay. So that's Lily. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're looking at, folks. So thanks for being involved, and I'm gonna have an update here in just a little bit. So, oh, and anybody who, if Zach live streams or anything, I need you guys all to ask him how he likes working for TPL Power, and I need you to ask him for his driver's license because we had an interesting wait staff at the Longhorn Steakhouse last night. All right, I'll tell the story real quick. So anyway, we're no disrespect to this waitress. She was, I'm sure, very nice to everybody but us, but she needed to ID Zach, and Zach hands her a government photo ID, and she's like, "This is Georgia, that's Tennessee." Like, so, and she's like questioning it, and she's like, "I need the driver's license," and it's still an ID, and Zach's like, "It's the same thing." So he's trying to get this freaking driver's license out of his wallet, and it won't come out of his wallet, and she's getting like pissy, and she's like, "Well, I have to be able to hold it because I have to check it because it's not a Georgia license," and it's like, well, duh, but gee, whatever. So if you don't have a driver's license, you can't order alcohol at Longhorn Steakhouse because they will only apparently accept a driver's license. A state ID, a government issued photo ID, anything apparently doesn't count. Passport can't use that either. Apparently you have to drive. I guess. I don't know. But she was really kind of cruddy with us. I don't know what her problem was. Like, we did come in an hour before close, but like, we were super nice to her, and like the three of us are just easy to deal with. Like we just kind of sit there and like we don't really, just I don't know. Weird. Yeah, that was an interesting night. So I had a cheeseburger. It was all right. So, all right, folks, I'm out. Take care. WXI.org, WXEYE, projectweatheri.org or .com, projectweatheri.com or WXI.org. You can find information, email us, and stuff like that if you want to get involved or have input. So take care, folks. We're going to do something. I don't know what. We will see you folks later.